If you don't see how you're going to make it out, do it. If you don't think it's possible, do it. If people are doubting you, do it. Challenge yourself like you've never challenged yourself before. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Emmanuel. I post content about fashion and everything self-improvement. As I sit down here and I think about these last 30 days of this year, I think about how everything that I set out to achieve this year, I didn't achieve all of them. I think about how majority of the things that I did write down, the things that I did want to accomplish, I did a lot of them. I'm going into this year with zero regrets. In fact, there's nothing about 2024 that I would change at all. I think the main reason why I feel this way is because this is the first year that I feel like I've challenged myself to the fullest extent. And when I say the fullest extent, not to the point where I've overexerted myself, but to the point where I've never pushed past these limits before. And this has to do with spiritually, mentally, physically, and career-wise. So as I sit here and I reflect on the year, I couldn't help but to think about you guys, because I know how the end of the year is. I know what everybody's thinking. I know everyone's gearing up for 2025. And if there was anything that I could give you to walk into 2025, it would be this. Challenge yourself like you've never challenged yourself before. I think a lot of times we talk about a lot of the stuff that we want to do. I think a lot of times we fantasize over things that we want to achieve. And some of us are doers, some of us are procrastinators. But there's a large majority of us that are just comfortable. I believe what's in front of your breakthrough is comfortability. And right behind comfortability is your breakthrough. It's everything that you've ever imagined, plus some. You've heard this before. You've heard people say this time and time and time again. Well, I'm going to, spew out this notion once again because it's very true. If you want drastic results, you need to take drastic measures. A lot of us are way too comfortable in our norm. A lot of us are way too comfortable doing the things that we're used to doing. A lot of us have not stepped out of comfortability. A lot of us have not been in a position that we were uncomfortable. The thing about being uncomfortable is this space where all that could happen within that space is growth. Because you're like in discovery mode, meaning you're in a space where you've never been before, so you're forced to discover a new side of you that you've never seen before. We get way too comfortable in our mundane life, challenging ourselves just to the point where we know we could do it. But going into 2025, I want you to try something completely different. I want you to do the impossible. I want you to do the thing that you're thinking about right now that you've been giving yourself all the excuses not to do. That's the thing I want you to do. The thing that you're thinking about right now, that as soon as it came up in your mind, you already came up with an excuse on why you can't do it. That's the thing that I want you to do. Whether it's running a marathon, whether it's challenging yourself to post for 365 days, whether it's having uncomfortable conversations, whether it's quitting your job, whatever it is, I want you to do something that you've never done before. I want you to do a thing that you don't even know how you would be able to do it. That's the thing that I want you to do. You can't go into the year doing the same thing that you've done, expecting different results. Sometimes you have to put yourself against you. Sometimes you have to put your back against the wall, and you have to challenge yourself to the fullest extent. So for 2025, what I want you to do is push past the limits that you've put upon yourself. Don't put any limits. The sky is the limit. Be limitless. I'm going into 25 with no resolutions, no goals written down. But the main thing that I'm going to keep in mind is, in 2025, I'm going to do everything that my mind has trained myself to think that I can't do. And I want you to do the very same thing. You don't need a resolution. You don't need a board full of goals. You don't need any of that. You just need the willpower to do things that you've never done before. 2025 is going to be your year, but it'll only be your year if you want it to be your year. It'll only be your year if you make it be your year. I've had the greatest year of my life in 2024. I've accomplished so much. I've built thorough, meaningful relationships with people. I've exceeded my expectations. I've exceeded everyone's expectations. So what is there to do next? It's all about one-upping yourself. Not the next guy, not the next person, but one-upping yourself. 1% better daily. So if this year you was only consistent in the gym for 2 months, push yourself this year to do something even greater. Y'all know what my motto is. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. Because if you shoot for the stars, you may not get to the stars, but at least you'll land on the moon. Make 2025 the year that you've been the most uncomfortable that you've ever been in your life. If you feel as if it's gonna be challenging, do it. If you don't see how you're gonna make it out, do it. If you don't think it's possible, do it. If people are doubting you, do it. If you don't have the means to do it, do it. Whatever it is that you do, make sure it's something that you've never done before. Make sure it's something that no one has expected from you. And make sure it's something that you didn't even believe that yourself could do. 2025 will be the year where you'll be the most uncomfortable.